Welcome to Podheim, Jiroc's Valheim podcast. Let's give him the business.
Hey everybody, today is January 31st, 2023. I'm your host, Jiroc the Viking, and joining me today are my fellow Vikings, Viking Kondo.
Hi everyone, welcome from Australia.
Yay Kondo! Yeah, yay Kondo! We also have Shield Maiden Morning Darkness.
Oh, I like my new background.
Yeah.
It's the Asgard build.
And joining us for the first time is one of the newer modders to start making mods for Valheim, Viking Therzie. Welcome to the podcast.
Hey, thank you very much.
Yay.
So good to have you, Therzie. I've been working with modders for quite a long time, and when I saw your mods come out, Kondo said, "Hey, you really got to check out this guy's mods. He's putting in, some real effort here." And I went over, what impressed me, Therzie, I'll just say first off, was the graphic design and the layout of your information on Thunderstore. Like, to me, that's an instant flag of, look, this person is really putting in time to organize and present his mods. So there's a lot of care I can see just in the presentation. I thought, I bet the mods are pretty good too. And that's what I found. I found the mods to be pretty fun. So let's start by asking you first off, what part of the world are you from?
All right. I hail from the Netherlands, the country that's actually underwater. I'm 31 years old, and Valheim is the first game that I ever started modding.
Nice.
Oh, nice. And so that your name Therzie, where does that come from? Do you use that for your character names in the game? Do you is it just like this online alias? How did you come up with that name?
It's actually hailing back from the World of Warcraft days, like when it all started. I had to come up with a character name, so I created this orc, called him Therzie, and the name Therzie basically came from that, and that stuck, and people started calling me that, and I took that as my online alias. Yeah, pretty much like that.
Oh, nice. Yeah. It's, a lot of people seem like this in some game. They've picked a name for a game, and then they just get to be known by that name, and so they just run with it. That's usually how it goes.
You kind of develop the name on the way.
Yeah. Well, you said you're from the Netherlands. Were you born there, or did you move there at some point in your life? Have you been there the whole time?
Yeah, I'm a true Dutchman. I've been around the world with my jobs, but no, I come from the Netherlands and live in the countryside there now.
Okay, great. And I'll turn it over to Kondo to ask the next question.
Oh, just so what was the previous game that you played, the first one?
Like before Valheim, or like?
Oh, the one that you said before that you were you first got your name from.
Oh, yeah, World of Warcraft. So like the first 3 games.
Yeah. Was that one of your favorite games, or did you have any other games that you enjoyed until now? From that point until now.
I'd say I'm a pretty hardcore Blizzard fanboy when it
Blizzard.
when it comes to like the good games. So basically, before Activision stepped in, all those games before that, I've played them to death since childhood. The games that I also touched were like MOBAs, Dota, League of Legends, all that sort of stuff, but mainly keeping it in the RPG spirit. So World of Warcraft, Dungeons and Dragons, that sort of stuff.
Yes.
Well, so those are not survival games, and Valheim is a survival game. Have you ever played a survival game before Valheim?
I did try some games like Rust and Ark Survival Evolved, but it just, I don't know, it didn't really stuck with me. And when Valheim came out, I wasn't really familiar with the scene, but it really got to me like from the first go. So, yeah.
Yeah. So how did you discover Valheim?
I remember when it was during the start of the pandemic, and just streaming or scrolling through the Steam library, and suddenly there's this game early access Valheim, and it was hella cheap also, and I was like, this looks great. It's got a Viking theme to it. I love Vikings. Well, let's give it a shot. And basically, our entire friend group rolled into it, and we were hooked. It was insane.
Nice.
Yeah. It's so would you say that a friend pulled you in, or did you somehow you saw it on Steam? Is that it got advertised to you somewhere, and that's when you checked it out?
Yeah, basically, I think it was Steam sale or something. I can't remember exactly. It was during that time, like you open Steam and they got those headlines like with new games, and it was there. And I was the first one to pull it up, and got everyone hooked. And that was it.
Nice.
Still here.
And so you're still here, but are your friends that you pulled into the game? Did they? Was it short lived for them? Are some of them still playing?
They're actually waiting for me to finish up another server. It's basically I've been playing and testing a lot with them, and to me it's like a constant engagement because I want to improve my work and all that. But for them, it's just a game that they're playing, so they come and go.
Yeah. Well, yeah, being a modder, I mean, you're sort of like I'm in the same way in that I'm creating I have servers. I'm trying to create content for the players, whether it be through events or building interesting locations for them to explore, or adding certain mods to the game. Like you're doing the same thing. You're trying to create. So like I'm always engaged with the game, even if I'm not like there playing it. I still am doing all these other things associated with it. But let's talk a little bit about the mods that you have out. You have 2 mods, right?
I do. I got 2 mods right now. One of them is Warfare, which is basically a content expansion that fills all the weapon gaps in the game. And it extends up to the last 2 biomes. And the other one is basically the monsters that are added that make it the perfect mix. So you got new materials to grind from these new monsters that you can craft new weapons with. That's the concept, and I'm far from done. I got so much more planned.
Well, yeah. So that's kind of a brief summary because there's so much involved with that. So one of the things I noticed is a lot of the mods out there, they've put together this really great assets. They put together some really great assets for us to use on our server. But as Kondo can tell you, we have to go through and sort of rebalance all of them to fit Valheim. They're not really balanced for the progression of the game up to Mistlands and then maybe beyond to the other 2 biomes. They're sort of just like, here they are, here's a template. Now you go and balance it. So now every server owner has to rebalance every single mod. It's just like all this work being done over and over and over again. But if one person, the modder, balance that for the game progression, the natural game progression, then all the server owners wouldn't have to rebalance everything over again. And I know some of them do try to do some balancing, but not all of them do. But so that's one of the things I really appreciated with what you're doing over there. Was that something that you really wanted to set out to do, was like not just add this content, but make sure that it fit the progression of the game so it filled in, the niche?
Yeah, 100%. The whole idea was that I wanted my work to be plug and play for the user. So I've been in your chair. I've also modded servers and got into arguments with modders like, why is this so unbalanced? Like the constant frustration that every update can bring in something broken,
Yeah.
And I didn't want that. I wanted my work to just fit in perfectly in the theme, but also look at how Valheim balanced their stuff. Basically made it follow their logic and progression.
Yeah. That's one of the things that when I first looked at the mod and you had the warfare set up to do your first biomes, your meadows, swamp, mountains, plains, and then once you moved into Ashlands and Deep North, they also had crafting stations that you we're locked behind the previous biome to then get to the next biome. And then looking at some of the weapon stats, they were also in line with Valheim's progression, where they went stepped up through the biomes as well. So, yes,
it's actually I was kind of waiting with the last bits of balance because Mistlands was not released by then, and it was really frustrating because I had everything calculated how they progressed, and then suddenly the gap between the plains and the Mistlands is like they did a huge leap in stats. So suddenly I had to change everything.
So instead of a gradual increase, they jumped further ahead in the power of the weapons and armor than you thought.
Yeah, they didn't follow their own plan, which was, well, I had to adapt, but I think I got it.
So you originally, before they released Mistlands, you looked at the progression from each biome up to the plains, and then you sort of calculated what the next progression should be, but they defied their own progression and they made it more powerful. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm saying.
Interesting.
Now, is that because of the magic that was added, or was it just all the weapons and armor also?
I actually, well, this is the theory I have behind it. When it first got released, it was a lot harder. Like, I think the monsters had a lot of HP, but also their damage was pretty insane compared to what it is right now. So they kind of boosted the values on damage and all that to match the health pools that they gave the monsters. That's what I think. Because if you look at the stats, for example, normally one tier would jump 20 damage on a weapon. So you have a black metal version, and then the next step would be 20 damage extra. But instead of 20, they did a leap of 50 damage.
Oh, wow, that's more than double.
Yeah.
Well, that sort of explains some of the early frustration when Mistlands first came out, because a lot of people were saying, "Oh my gosh, this is so hard. I have full plains gear, and I'm going into the Mistlands, and I'm getting my butt kicked." Right?
Yeah. At the same time, I also heard from a lot of people that it finally brought the challenge that they were looking for. So.
Yes.
Yeah. I do think that vanilla Valheim up through the plains is a little too easy, especially with the exploits that you can do in the game. Basically, with terrain and getting on top of rocks. It's like you can jump on the rock, but the creature can't climb the rock or get to you, right?
Yeah.
Now it can.
It's not balanced at all when you look at it, but yeah, I can't say my monsters are 100% gonna kick your ass. I mean, you can also exploit those,
Oh, sure.
It's hard.
With the mechanics of the terrain and the game and the way things move around, unless the creature can jump vertically and or fly, it's really easy to cheese them. Like the only thing that was hard to cheese is a death skeeto, right? Because it just flies around and you have to be ready to, attack it or block it or whatever. But just about everything else in the game up to that point, you can pretty much cheese. So warfare, let's talk a little bit about warfare. I want to really I don't think we let the people know actually how cool this mod is, right? So before we had a bunch of mods that would add, a little bit of this, a little bit of that, some armor, some weapons. But what you've done here is you've added weapons that were missing and tools too, right? Or is it just weapons right now?
No, it's also tools.
Okay. So weapons and tools and armor that go all the way that are missing in the gap. So what's a good example? Like a long sword, the two-handed sword. Well, since Mistlands, right? Now there's a low-level two-handed sword, or you have low-level crossbows, right? Because the game just introduced a high-level crossbow. So you couldn't, practice using one until you got all the way up to there, which, so you're sort of filling in those gaps, but not just filling in those gaps. You're looking at the stats, you're balancing them all, which is interesting. It makes me wonder, is it just a bit of economy on their part? Because I know Richard Svensson, he sort of put this Valheim together in his free time, and he just sort of got all the basics in, right? Like the basics of the game in. whether it be, creatures in each biome, the dungeons, especially the two earlier dungeons are really basic. And he just sort of picked what certain weapons and armor to give you. And it seemed like a whole lot of things in between were missing. I would assume that that's not because he didn't think that they should be there. I think it's just, he's just trying to get in the basics. And then you saw that they're missing. So you filled the gap. What do you think about that theory?
100%.
Yeah.
How it went for me. I understand that the Valheim content development is very slow. I believe they have 2 content creators that are fully working on it. It's not a lot, but what really annoyed me is why introduce a 2-handed sword in the last tier. Why can't I have one when I'm in bronze tier? And that same question goes, of course, for the crossbow and many others. So, basically, I started filling in. I took my example first from the mod called Terraheim. I'm sure you've used that. That got broken, and I kind of got annoyed with replacing that one because I just couldn't really do it with other mods. And then at some point, I got so frustrated with trying to make stuff work that I decided, why not learn modding? And that's how Warfare initially started.
Yeah.
Glad for your frustration.
Yeah. If I can't fix it with other people's work, I'll have to do it myself.
Yeah. I've been I've been super grateful for the modding community. Obviously, that they're putting these things out there. Mostly, they're just putting them out there for free, and those who are putting them behind some kind of paywall or donations system, I'm happy to donate. Like on content creation, I know as from myself, it's tough and it takes time, and so donations help a lot. But one of the things I really like with Warfare 2 is you're also adding you've added workstations also, right, for the next 2 biomes. Is that correct?
It's got its it's got its own crafting station called the Ymir Forge, and I'm already building next crafting stations for endgame weapons and armor. But basically, my concept is that the crafting station functions for both Deep North and Ashlands. They are equal in balance, so to say. So you got Fire and Frost, which are strong against each other, but they're at the same equality of challenge, basically. And I've also created a bow crafting station. I remember that Balrond back in the days had a archery table, which was very a lot of people were a fan of that one. So I got some requests on, could you make us one? And I just started on building one, and now I got a bow crafting station with 4 extensions also. And
so some of their players got a little bit mixed up with that when they first joined on to Jotun Quest. Went to the workbench, couldn't work out how to craft any bows, and then they finally worked out they could craft a bow bench, which was a good change.
I get that confusion a lot. Like, why can't I build my bow anymore? It's like, well, you got Warfare installed.
Yeah, they must have told you your mods are buggy because now I can't build bows and arrows, right? You've done something to bug out my game. But so, what's the benefit then of having the new Fletcher's table, the bow crafting station? What do the players get that's not in vanilla with having this new crafting station? Are there new arrows? Are there new bows? Can you tell us?
Well, there's definitely new crossbows, new bolts, also new arrows that are also crafted on that table. I think for the I'm not 100% sure, but the Mistlands bow couldn't be upgraded at all, I think, or maybe 1 level.
2 levels.
2 levels, yeah.
2. Okay. Well, you can level it up to level 4 on my crafting station.
Right.
So basically, what you get right now is crossbows, bolts, arrows, and I got more stuff coming up.
Okay, yeah. So you've introduced some new weapons and ammunition for them, but still thought it would be funny to lock all the other bows and arrows behind it too, the standard vanilla ones, right?
It is.
So, yeah, go ahead.
I gated. I think I got to check to be sure, but I think you can create the normal bow, so like the twig with the string, and I think you can also make the fine wood bow.
Yes.
But other than that, everything is locked behind that crafting table.
And what level of vanilla arrows get locked behind it? Because I'm playing also on the modded server, and my character has made the fine wood bow and fire arrows, but I haven't tried to make anything better. Are the arrows also locked? Did they get gated behind the workbench?
Yeah, so the workbench gets unlocked in the bronze tier. So bronze-headed arrows and everything that goes up from there, it's all on that table. But like fire arrows and flint arrows, you can make on the workbench still.
Yeah. So I have a question for you, filling in those gaps, right? Like, so I was, as I'm leveling my character, I'm trying to decide what weapons do I want to make, and I see all these new bronze weapons, right, that weren't in the game before. But then I was looking, I thought, where's my bronze dagger, Therzie?
Bronze dagger? You got a copper dagger.
I don't want a copper one. I want a bronze dagger.
That's what the copper one is.
Just a moment, I'll make a note.
I look at the copper and I think, well, bronze should be better than copper somehow, right? It can be the halfway point between that and I guess, what is it? The chitin
razor.
Knife?
Yeah.
The chitin one is, yeah.
The abyssal razor, yeah.
Actually, you also got the iron knife from Warfare. But yeah, bronze knife coming up.
Well, the iron is above the chitin knife, though, right?
Well, that's the thing. I actually got pointed out that the abyssal items should be between iron and silver, apparently.
Oh, okay.
Which I feel is very unbalanced, but yeah.
Well, yeah.
My understanding is actually because there is no iron knife in vanilla. And so my understanding is that the abyssal razor is the Iron Age knife.
Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah. It's not above Iron Age, it is Iron Age.
Yeah, that's kind of what I thought, but I mean, you'd still have an iron one.
I mean, I'm not going to argue because that just means more decorating things for me and more knife weapons because I like the knife.
Yeah.
Fair.
Yeah. There's just something about that copper knife because it says copper on it that makes me think, it's only copper. I want bronze. I want the next level. A few points between copper and whatever the next one is. I don't know. You've got enough going on over there. You're doing a lot of great content. That's just a funny little thing I ran into the other day when I was leveling my own character. So let's before we move away from Warfare, what are the big plans going forward? Like, what are you working on for that mod currently?
Warfare is pretty much, well, it's currently on hold. The next big chapter of Warfare will be custom armors. I still got a lot to do and learn to do that proper. It's not as easy. That's why there's not a lot of armor mods on Valheim.
Yeah.
But for now, I'm purely focusing on finishing up the first boss of Monstrum. I've nearly finished the entire fight. It's got some few bug fixing left to do, but the goal is to have like a big volcano lair with a evil dragon lord within there.
Nice.
that will kick your ass, and hopefully I can also add a Forsaken power with it.
So are you using the motor movements for that monster, or
no? It's a asset I got from the Unity store. It's got its own unique movements and everything.
Nice. Yeah. Oh, that's exciting.
Yeah, it's turning out great. It's really cool. Can't wait to show you guys.
Well, let's talk about Monstrum then. So Warfare obviously adds armors and weapons. And now
there's another thing Warfare adds that we didn't touch on just yet. And
what is that?
You're right.
Biome content.
Yeah.
Can you elaborate on when players go into the Ashlands and Deep North? Is there any vegetation changes that they might see?
So basically, the standard versions of the Ashlands and Deep North are very barren. There's nothing there but surtlings and flat metal. But in order to create new items, you need new materials. So what I also added with Warfare is complete vegetation for the entire zones. So you got glaciers, you got trees everywhere, you got new metals and crystals to farm, rocks, whatever, everything to decorate the place, basically, and make it feel alive.
And
That's
use
awesome.
those resources to progress through the Ashlands and Deep North for those crafting stations, don't you?
Yeah, exactly.
And I guess with Monstrum, we'll be adding locations to these biomes as well, right? As you start to add dungeons and or boss locations.
Yeah, that is the plan. It's it takes a lot of time to get these locations done properly.
Yeah,
but definitely adding more locations over time. And as you mentioned, dungeons. I got a plan. The next plan after making some bosses, I'd like to start on a Jotun dungeon. So there's going to be like ice giants and everything ready there to kick your ass. It's still a concept, but that's the plan.
So are there any locations in Monstrum right now?
Yep. There's
tell us about them.
They're not very exciting. I gotta.
Hey, any location is exciting because we're used to running around. And there's nothing there. So when I see any formation, I'm like, "Ooh, what is that?"
Fair. It's well, I got two broods of dragons. So you got the Ashlands dragons and the Deep North dragons. They got nests on the higher altitudes, and in the Deep North, there's also Jotun caves. And those are populated with Jotuns that are wondering why you disturb their peace.
I like it. I know if that's a little cave. I know you said it's just a little location, but I went into one of those and I thought, oh, wow, this is great. Like, this is a little space. It feels like a troll cave, but a little bit different inside, right, than a troll cave. And you got a couple of like Jotun decorations in the background there. And I just thought, wow, this is perfect. Like, this is what the game needs more of, is like these little locations where the creatures are hanging out, or where you could take refuge once you've cleared it out and drop a campfire and get out of the cold, right?
It's definitely the idea to add more of these small locations also. I'm hoping to add the Ashlands version, which is basically a small little mountain with a Minotaur cave on top of it.
Yeah, there's
still in
Minotaurs.
Oh yes.
So I have a thought, since you were talking about like these little locations that you've been adding and you're planning or hoping to add in the future to the Deep North and the Ashlands. What about a plains location? Because we don't have any plains dungeons or caves or anything in the plains. Have you considered that? I was thinking like a fueling stronghold or something, you know, a fueling cave.
It's actually not a bad idea.
Yeah. You could just repurpose one of the caves that you've already got and just like theme it with, you know, fueling, or a fueling shaman cave, right? Where everybody goes to get their shaman, you know, healing from the wise one in the cave. But, you know, players, we go in and we get blasted.
Oh,
you're onto something, man. I need you as a content creator.
Well, yeah, no, I mean, I'm full of ideas, and it's, you know, trying to get everything done on our, so like we've actually created locations like this by hand using the admin's tools, using Ure's mods. And but having something that like generates in the world that spawns stuff, once you go there, that's sort of the more ultimate goal that I'd love to actually get into too. So I've been working with the modders to try to generate locations around the world. So actually, I don't know if you know, but I recently, just today, was talking to Jiroc, and I asked him, so right now, when we say vegetation in a biome, we're not just talking about plants. Like that's what people think when they say vegetation, but vegetation is pretty much anything that sort of is on the ground. That's all the pickables. That's all the rocks, all the trees, all the resources, metals, whatever.
Anything with the white text.
Yeah, and so you're using mods to generate these things in the biomes. Jiroc's mods. And I asked him, can we generate locations? And obviously you've figured that out because you're generating locations. And so I asked him, can I generate unique prefab structures in there just like you would with vegetation? And he said, yes, but those would be considered locations. So you could only have one per biome. And I thought that'd be perfectly fine because, for example, Kondo recently created this Avatar floating island thing. You've seen Avatar with the Pandora with the islands all connected together, but they're floating in the air and they're like connected by giant roots and vines and stuff. So he created one. It's beautiful. I'm planning to do a video on it here soon. And it's like a perk for my patrons on my server. But something like that, he said, like you can generate one per zone. So I was thinking with your biomes right now, Deep North and Ashlands, you're generating the vegetation, but it's only one rock here and one rock there and one rock over there and then a tree, trees. But look at the Mistlands. Have you ever gone through the Mistlands? Some of those rock structures that go way up into the sky, those are multiple rocks pieced together
Clusters,
that go all the way up. So the only way to achieve that would be to create a blueprint out of those and then have those generate as locations. And Jiroc said that's totally possible right now. So if you wanted more unique looking terrain design elements rather than just one big rock sticking up or something, like you could do that with multiple rocks, or we could even generate something like Kondo's Avatar floating islands in the world.
Hey, you're right. The Mistlands locations, or how the landscape is formed, those are locations that are loaded when you generate a world, basically.
Yeah. And so Jiroc said basically, yes, you can create elaborate designs with rocks and roots and all this stuff, save it as a location and have it generate in the world. At least one per biome, one per zone.
So is it like, I got a patch of plains here. This is one. And then over here, I got another patch. There's also going to be one over there.
Well, no, you could assign the frequency, right? So you don't have to have one in every single zone, but you could have them, so many within an area, right? Just like the rocks, define how sparse they are, right? And how frequent they appear. Can't have two in one zone, but you don't have to have one in every zone. I was trying to figure out, because like we're thinking about building cave, like right now, like assets in the game, like a cave or something. It's like one modeled asset, and then it's brought in as a location. But as an admin, I love using the admin tools to piece together things to create stuff, like a cave out of rocks and reshape them and reform them or something. And if I want that, like if I do build a cave, can I populate that around the world? Well, Jiroc says yes. He says, yeah, you can use his mods to populate the world with those as a location from a blueprint too. So I just want to throw that out there because the Mistlands already has a version of that Iron Gate is done with those really tall rock things. Those are multiple prefabs, not just one like right now. In most of the world, it's one prefab that sticks up out of the ground, a rock, a tree, a mineral, whatever. But for the first time, Iron Gate put multiple prefabs together they
kind of shaped the landscape to be a combat zone at the same time. They did a good job.
Yeah, it's people. Yeah, well, a lot of people. I don't know. Some complain, some love it, but whatever it is, you have to admit they've really changed the environment that we were used to in the game. So Monstrum comes with a couple of locations. You're looking to add more. What are some of? I know you have a lot of creatures you've added. You've added like animals, like bears and foxes and things. Like there's different animals, and then you've added monsters. Hopefully some will be able to mount someday. And we can make pets out of them too, right? Like we can tame the warg in the Ashlands. Can we tame the pride tusk, the woolly mammoth in the deep north yet?
Not yet, but once I start learning the armor rigging, I expect to follow up with rigging up the mount also. So by that time, I'll probably give you the opportunity to tame yourself a pride tusk.
Yeah, that would be fun. So of all these different creatures that you've added, what can you just tell me a couple of your favorites so that the listeners get a little sneak peek into what to expect?
I'd say the demons in the Ashlands that turn up in the night are pretty scary. They are. I had a lot of fun creating the imp. It's this little circling type of creature that shoots fireballs, tries to gnaw your bones off, and laughs at you at the same time. It's hilarious at the same time scary. I really like the pride tusk. Sadly, it was a horrible asset to work with. It took me a lot of time to get the animation somewhat right, and I'm still not happy as it is. So, but I do really like how they turned out. I'll probably update those in the future. Some other monsters. Yeah, there's so many. I really like the bears. All types of them.
Yay!
Can we tame the bears right now? I don't remember.
Yeah, you can.
Okay.
And also added a fox that you can tame also.
Oh, yep. I've come because I'm just in the meadows and just starting the Black Forest. So yeah, I saw the little fox, which actually we have another mod that adds animals. And so I was gathering the foxes together to breed. And like your fox came in and I got the other fox and the other fox was bigger than your fox. And I looked at the two and I thought, those foxes don't look the same. And then I tried to get them to breed and they just ignored each other. So it's like, oh, those must be from two different mods.
I think that's from Marlton's Land Animals.
Yes, it is.
Yes.
Did you encounter the Razorbacks yet in the Black Forest?
Yes, the new boar, yeah.
Did you like them?
Oh, yeah, they were fun.
You can also tame those, and they instead of the regular boars that are not following, you can actually take these into combat with you, which is really cool.
Yeah, wow. I love when you can have anything you tame help fight for you. Yeah, if I could tame the regular boar and have it fight for me, I would definitely attempt to do that. Bring an army of boars, but now I can bring your Razorback boars.
So for the listeners, Therzie, how can they get Warfare and Monstrum?
Warfare is downloadable on the Thunder Store. Basically, 85% of the mod is free to use. And the last 15% is the items and crafting stations for the Deep Northern Ashlands, which is gated behind a premium subscription or a PayPal donation. And the Monstrum mod is fully exclusive to supporters only, so donations through PayPal or Patreon for that matter. And I have decided with my future mods that I'm also going to keep doing that, simply because it's the best way to create content.
Yeah, it's people get used to everything being free on the internet, and what they don't realize is just like everything takes time, and it takes somebody's time to do. So if I'm going to come in and fix your sink in your house, I can't just say, well, I'm happy to fix your sink. Have a great day. And I hope it doesn't break on you. Call me if it does. And that one's, that's free because I just do this for free because I love fixing sinks and I don't need any money. I don't need anything. I'm just going to go about my day. That's how everybody expects everything on the internet to be. They want that free entertainment, that free content, those free mods. And sure, it's nice to have some kind of access so that you can like draw them in, right? But at some point, if you're really enjoying something from a content creator, you should definitely donate. I donate about $200 a month to content creators. I'm happy to say, Therzie, you're now on that list. I subscribe to you at the highest tier that you had, mainly because I want to support, the mods that you're doing and the players on the servers. They're loving the mods. And I'm excited to see what you've got coming down the pipeline. And it's great, too, because you're, I looked at our messages between us. And so when I can communicate with modders, it's great. Like if they're willing to communicate, not all of them are very receptive to communication. But I looked back and I saw back in April of last year, I had this message from somebody named, let's see, what is your name here on Discord? T-Jeb. Somebody named T-Jeb sent me a message. I get tons of messages because I do videos on like how to use mods and all this stuff. And, pretty much Ure has like a huge comprehensive set of mods. And they're developed by him, but through me asking him that I would love to be able to do this feature. And so he makes it possible. And back in April of last year, you asked me, which mod do I see? You say, I was wondering what mod you use to build in dungeons with monsters for a video that I did. And then I told you, I just basically threw a whole list of like Ure's mods at you. And, it's great that, like that you just reached out and now to see after all this time, you took that foundation and ran with it. And now you're creating all your own mods. So you must have obviously figured out a whole bunch of stuff from working with Ure's mods. Did those pretty much get you started with modding? Like you thought, okay, I can do a bunch of stuff with these mods, but I want to do more. So I'm going to make my own mods.
I'd say that I speak every now and then with Yeri, and he's a really nice guy.
Yeah.
I love his mods. But I haven't really used Expand World like most servers do, because I didn't really have the ideas for how to use all of that. But I think the mod that really stuck out for me was Wecky's database. Like that was the first mod that really gave me the opportunity, like, to change recipes, damage values, and create custom materials and all that. And that was, I think, the step towards at some point going like, I can keep creating custom items and materials, but it's not what I really want, And at that point, I got into modding. I got into the Odin Plus Discord, which is very friendly for starters. And basically a lot of trial and error along the way. I don't have a programming background at all. I'm actually a tree expert in real life.
Wait, okay. A tree expert?
Yeah, I look at trees and I judge if they're healthy, and that's what I do.
Oh, that's nice. So cool. That's actually one of the things I was going to ask, if you had like a background in art or programming or anything, and the answer is no. That's great. I love that. So basically, like, you are a perfect case of, no, seriously, anyone can mod if they want to like sit down and figure it out.
If I can do it, you can do it. 100%.
I love that. Well, that's beautiful.
Can you explain like that process? So you said I want to figure out how to do mods. What were some of the first steps for you to do that?
Well, first you ask, where do I get the goods? Right. Basically, in the Odin Plus Discord, there's a lot of mod developers that have great advice. I think the best one out there is Azumat. Really, really nice guy that is really committed to helping others, and also taught me a great bunch of using his templates, writing custom code, getting the stuff I want in the game. With a lot of trial and error. Sorry, Azu. No, it's if anyone wants to get into modding, I recommend join the Odin Plus Discord and just ask, how can I start modding? There's a ton of friendly people that'll point you to the right videos, the right download links, everything.
Nice.
Cool.
So you're learning a little bit of programming, or should I say, modifying other people's programming and making it work for your mods. Is that what you're doing?
Yeah, basically yes. And I'm seriously no genius at this at all. I also commission like great programmers. Like you probably know KG.
Oh yeah,
he's a mastermind. But he's from Ukraine. And by now, I think he makes a living with mod commissions, and I'm really happy to support him in that. So when I have a complicated code situation, I usually just commission him.
Oh, nice. Yeah. I've commissioned him to do a few things, and would like to get a few more things here in the future. One of my big wish lists is just to add the vines to the build hammer. Everybody wants to build the vines. Now I can do it with Yure's admin Infinity Hammer, right? I can place any prefab in the game with his Infinity Hammer mod for admins, but I just wanted to add it to the clients, to the players' build list, the vines.
Yes, please.
Yeah, because they want to decorate with it. Vines look really cool when you throw them up on a building or a wall or something.
Yes.
But are you talking about the vines from the Mistlands specifically, or?
Well, it's the same that you find in the meadows. It's just the vines that you find on any sort of ruined building.
Yeah,
I think there's a mod that adds those.
Yeah, Plant Everything does, but it also adds a whole bunch of other stuff. I just want a mod called Vines, and that it just add vines, and then that's it. Right? Because balancing and tweaking a mod that adds all this other stuff is a pain in the butt. I don't want Plant Everything. I don't want all that other stuff. I mean, there may be we were using it on the server for a while, but then decided not to for certain reasons. But I would still just like the players to be able to use the vines. I was actually hoping that Iron Gate would make that a prefab with Mistlands.
Yes,
because they had vines on all kinds of things in the Mistlands, but yeah, they haven't decided to let us build them. So of just a straight up vines mod that basically adds the piece command to the vines in the game and then lets players place it. Yuri actually told me that it was possible, but that he's, because of all the other things he's working on, he didn't have time to work on it. And KG was looking at it to build his own custom Vine prefab and then make that a mod. But then the client and this, every client has to have it in order to see it.
Right.
But instead, I just want, if I can place a vine, the current vines with Yure's mod and the players can see it, I'd love to just have a client side mod that could do that. But, wish list items. Maybe somebody in Monstrum will figure out, or Warfare will figure out how to do that.
The build pieces are far away still. Sorry.
I know. I've worked a lot with Yurde and prefabs and build pieces just to get Infinity Hammer going to where it is now. So Kondo, you got a question for him here, don't you?
A couple, and it's probably tied in a bit together. I think we've covered it before, but do you have any other help with the Warfare or Monstrum mods, or is it all yourself? Like, I know you do get some help from the Odin Plus community, but do you have anyone else helping you?
I got Majestic. He's the creator of the Relicheim and Jewelheim mod packs. He's basically, I pulled him away from Epic Valheim, where he was working at first. I noticed that he was a really hard worker, so I needed him on my team. Don't regret that at all. He's testing a lot, like keeping me on point, like pointing out like this is not working because of that, and also coming with great suggestions. And he's also doing stuff like the Wikipedia that's up right now. So I basically create the content. He's my tester and a good friend, and my administrative person. And for the rest of the stuff, some code commissions or ask for help in Odin Plus, but most of the stuff I'm doing alone.
Yeah, it's one of the things that Jiroc and I did speak about was the amount of content that you've produced through Warfare and Monstrum from one person was pretty awesome.
It's a lot of work. My wife doesn't enjoy it.
Well, you work your day job, right? Whenever you have to do that, and then your free time is doing this, and then you got to figure family time and friend time outside of the thing too. I mean, I have the same problem with running servers and creating content. It's like, I guess I'll go get out of the house today and see a real human being in person.
It's a hard lifestyle. Let's keep it that way.
Well, it's fun, having something to look forward to, a project that you're working on and you're passionate about. That's what makes getting up, every day. Like you're thinking about it all day long until you have time to work on it, and then you don't want to go to bed because you want to do that one last thing before you go to bed. Then you're just like, oh, it's getting late. There's another thing I want to do, and another thing, and before you know it, it's really late, and then you don't get enough sleep, and then you're cranky the next day.
Yep, that was this morning.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
And then you're like, and I got to do this podcast too, and I could be working on my mods.
I actually took some days off to finish Monstrum, so Ooh. I'm good.
Excellent. So what being learning modding, and like I've mentioned it to others, I've even mentioned it Kondo, and what is like the one or two of the biggest challenges of learning modding, did you get over those obstacles, or did you just say like, okay, I'm going to commission somebody to do this because like this part is so hard, I don't want to spend time to have to learn that, so I'm going to just commission somebody who already knows how to do it?
I'd say the only parts that I really commissioned are the tough parts of code, like how my content is premium gated. It's working together with the key manager made by Blackson. I really needed help on getting that working, so that was some programming that I have no skill at all. But for the Unity part, it's a lot of trial and error testing. Finding errors and then asking questions like why can't I get it working, and then you get to the next step, and it's an ongoing process. Like you constantly find something new, or you think like you mentioned, like when I'm at work, I'm thinking at the same time, like, I got this thing that I really want to figure out. And, oh, you know what? I'm going to try this. And then I get home and I try it out. And it's actually the fix. And the next day you run into another problem that you're going to fix,
Yeah.
So it's been a rough couple of months really getting the basics and then becoming better at it. Like I started doing Unity animations now with, like starting with it, and at first I was very intimidated by it, but now I'm actually very much enjoying simple animations on like a spinning sphere with a turning circle around it. It's so basic, but it's beautiful in game.
Nice. Oh, that's so exciting.
Well, so what are some of the big things, or not, what are some of the things you're working on now that we can expect to see here in the near future? Like you said, there is a big update coming out, right? That you're working on for one of the mods.
Yeah. So basically, the first Ashlands boss with its own boss battle area and everything is coming up. It's sort of themed like he's the world destroyer, yada yada. it's basically a big nasty dragon that breathes lava.
It's so cool.
Time to get your ass kicked. That's the next big thing that's coming up. After that, I'm taking a small break to take care of my family a little bit. And after that, I got plans to start on the next boss for the Deep North, and that's going to be Fenris. So it's going to be a big bad wolf.
Oh, so are you going to be going a little bit off of some of the lore that they started with the mountain caves, or?
And not specifically. I wish I could keep it completely Norse mythology for that matter.
Right.
But sadly, I'm not I'm a little bit tied to what assets I can get, and those assets aren't always the best. So it's a lot of finding the best options. So I kind of try to stick with the Valheim team. So Ashlands, lots of fire, lava, that sort of stuff, and Deep North more the frosty like ice giants, wolves, bears. Trying to stay in the theme.
There's already Fenring minions running around, isn't there? There's a few Deep North Fenring.
Yeah, there is. I'm actually gonna change them a little bit because I find them very boring. So gonna make them a little more dangerous to encounter.
Talking about these creatures and in the Deep North, it made me think of something that's kind of missing from Valheim that a lot of people have been requesting. And when you were saying you wanted to keep the Deep North to like the creatures that would like known to live in the Deep North, like the wolves or the mammoth, like the pride tusk, right? So something that's missing from the game that you could add to the Deep North would be saber-toothed tigers.
Don't get me started. Don't get me started.
Had you been looking for a saber-toothed tiger asset?
Yeah, and seriously, it's all garbage.
Oh
no!
I've been searching for a long time, but I can't find a good asset.
Oh no!
Oh, yeah, that's too bad. You know, if you could just find a good cat, then like a big cat. Somebody like KG, I bet, could add like the saber-tooth tusks to it because he's done some modeling for me with my hats mod and tweaked them a little bit. And I'm sure just adding some long tusk would be pretty easy if you could at least find a big cat and then, retexture it. So I don't know, something to think about because everybody says, where's all the big cats? So we don't have panthers or cheetahs or lions or tigers or even some kind of weird mythical cat. Like there's just not a cat.
Now you know why.
Yeah. There's no good cat assets. That's why.
I hear you. Maybe by the time when I start rigging, I can maybe make a saber-tooth out of a tiger asset.
There you go.
I actually have some plans for more mini bosses for like the vanilla biomes also. And I was thinking about adding a lion boss for the plains, like a mini boss.
Oh my gosh, yes.
That would be awesome. Yeah, that falls in line with what I was saying about maybe even adding location for that boss in the plains. Or it could just be wandering around in the plains too. That would be fun if it's there.
Suddenly get jumped.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's got to jump. If you could figure, I don't know. I'm sure that's going to be difficult to figure out so that it can get up to places where players think, I'm safe up on this rock. Oh, no, you're not.
It's definitely possible to make a monster jump. It's just the way it looks may be a little bit weird.
A little
awkward.
Suddenly static jump out of nowhere. It's not optimal.
Yeah. Well, that's especially when I start working with mods and seeing what the modders are doing, and they're doing such great work. And just like yourself, you're getting in there. And of course, the programmers, like you mentioned, Blackson and Azumat and Jiroc and Jules and all these, modders who actually know the programming, like the hardcore programming to make it. So thankful that they exist. And it makes me have even more appreciation for what Iron Gate's doing because there are so many more modders who can produce so much more content than the small Iron Gate team. But the Iron Gate team is still really putting together a solid game that really works and is making a great template for the modders like yourself to add new stuff That's what's great. Yeah. It's like there's this template of a world. Now modders can add to it and really enrich it. And I don't know, it's just so much fun.
It is. It is an endless pile of fun and also a lot of work.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, you say that you're going to be taking a break after you get this next mod finished, but looking into the future, do you have any big wishlist items that you'd like to do for your mods that you haven't already talked about yet? Or what about a new mod? Do you have something kind of on the horizon in your inspiration?
I want to start on custom built pieces at some point. The Mistlands adds these dwarven structures, like the door and all that. I basically want to, in the future, when I get the Jotun dungeon done, I got another dungeon planned that's going to be totally demon inspired. I kind of want to have a build piece mod also that has like these demonic or ice structures that you can place. But
very cool.
That's in the far future somewhere.
Sure, I love hearing about it though, because I love to build in Valheim. I get a lot of my inspiration from other people, but any new pieces that you can introduce are always very fun.
Can I offer a suggestion? How about an ocean boss?
Oh, I've been asked that.
Yeah, we need more water content, obviously, right?
I'm actually working on getting a shark done. It's not as fun as I had hoped. I'm still learning ocean creatures. My main problem right now is what sound do you give a shark? Because sharks don't really make sound, so it feels incomplete. I'm still searching.
Well, that's why Iron Gate has taken they've taken some creatures and sort of spin them and made them slightly different, or just created like their own mythical creature that doesn't even exist anywhere, like the Lox, right? And then they can make it make any sound they want because it's just its own creature. So if you had like a shark, maybe with like tentacles coming out of its back or something, the tentacles can reach up and attack you, and then you can make it make any sound you want.
Can I
record that?
Oh, I've done tons of Foley and sound effects over the years. Yes, I can help if you ever need any help with that.
I'll be sure to call.
Yeah, definitely.
But regarding ocean, it's been requested. Who knows? I'm not a huge fan of ocean creatures so far.
Yeah. Well, yeah, the ones we've installed, I wasn't a huge fan of them either. It was kind of neat at first, just because it added something unique, like a shark or an orca or the kraken. But they still, the mechanics of them this seems a little weird, a little wonky. I actually have a little bit of problem with the sea serpent too. I think it's a really cool thing that the Iron Gate team has added. And the way, it rises up out of the water and it screams at you. The first time you encounter that, it's terrifying. And then you realize that they're not that tough. I wish they were a little bit tougher and faster, and that they could attack you on land. I just want to see that giant thing going like this, chasing you on land and biting you instead of just being incapacitated when it's on land. I don't know.
I see what you mean. And it's actually... I had that same experience. Like the first time you see them, you shit your pants, and
that's a good way to phrase it.
when you actually start learning how how you can just kite them to death or harpoon them on shore, like a lot of my friends that were playing were going in Black Forest gear, like, oh, let's hunt some serpents. Like, oh, it doesn't feel right,
Yeah. And that should be more dangerous than Black Forest gear.
Yeah. But I added serpents to the Deep North, and I tried to give them an option that they can still hit you on land. So when you're on shore, they have that same animation of the regular serpent where they're screaming like that, and then they spit ice bolts at you.
Oh.
So you're not safe.
Oh, that's good. Ice.
I mean, even if they just spit water at you, the water when you're in the Deep North is deadly.
That's true. It's freezing.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, very cool. So if anybody out there is listening and they thought about installing mods, or you do use mods and you're not familiar with Therzie's mods, definitely go to Thunderstore and check them out. And if you can support him, please do. I'm sure every little bit helps. And he's got a Patreon set up, and it'll help him design more mods for the future. I know so much content can be created. And then you still got to balance your work life and your family and all that stuff. So that would be great. Any other questions, Kondo or Morning, before we say farewell to Therzie and see what let him go and push out the new version of the Monstrum mod?
I've got nothing extra.
Yeah, this was amazing. Thank you so much for sharing all this beautiful and wonderful info, and for, giving hope to those out there who have no art or programming background at all.
Thanks for having me, and good luck on your first mod.
All right. Thanks a lot, Therzie.
Yeah.
Thank you as well. See you guys.
Yep. So this is where I'll edit it, Therzie, and then we'll pick up. We have just the last bit of our podcast to do. But do you have any questions for us before we go and we finish up our podcast?
Not really. It was fun.
Okay, cool. Well, just as you worked with Kondo, like Kondo, myself, a bunch of my admins, and we totally help wherever we can. Because I see the development of your mods as a sort of a special thing, compared to the mods that are out. I mean, there's a lot of great mods, but I think your mods are really fitting into the ecosystem that we're trying to put together. So please let us know if we can help with anything. Obviously, I know Ure's and Jules mods inside and out. And Kondo does too. So if there's anything we can help with, or you testing mods or whatever, just let us know. We'd love to help.
I'll be sure in touch.
Right. So that was a fun interview with Therzie. I'm so glad that there are people out there like him who are modding for us and creating all this extra fun content. So we're going to cover Valheim news, since we had a bunch of Valheim news coming out. But before we do, I just had one thing I wanted to do. This is a quick show and tell. Let's see how well it shows up on camera.
Oh my gosh. I want this so bad. That's amazing. I think that's actually bigger than my desk.
Yeah, it's something like 33 inches across. And yeah,
holy cow.
Yeah.
I don't know what that is.
It's the mouse pad that he has created on his store.
Oh, I'm talking about inches.
His new merch items.
Oh.
I'd reckon that's 120 centimeters.
Yeah, whatever Kondo's weird alien planet he lives on, the measurement system that he's using. No. I wish I knew the metric system as well, because it is the superior system. I'll give you that. But yeah, so it's a mouse pad, but the store that I use, they don't have them.
It's about 84 centimeters.
Yeah, there you go. They don't have a regular size like mouse pad. They just have this thing called a desk pad, so you can put everything on it. I even use it as a cup holder, because instead, so that my glass doesn't sweat on the desk, right? You could just kind of go in there, and then that dries off. Mouse, and gamers, especially, like if you like to really move your mouse far, you got this giant mouse pad you can use. But I had to get one because I thought it looked cool, and it actually turned out nice, so that was awesome. Yeah. But enough of that. Valheim news. You guys, I'm sure, saw the patch. I did a little video on it. What were some of your favorite things from the announcement for the public test branch patch, Morning?
Oh gosh, you're asking me first. What don't I like about this? Oh my gosh. I am excited that the mobs are going to get a little bit harder again. I think that they trying to appease all the different things, they did a little too much to accommodate. And so I'm really excited that the Seekers are going to get a little more aggressive, that the Yalls are going to also still hit twice, but it's going to be a greater increment in between. I think that's a great idea, and still appeasing that compromise. I'm excited to get the Dwerger door.
Yes. Everybody wanted the door.
Everybody wanted the door, and it is the greatest gift that they could share. And I'm just, oh my gosh, I'm so excited.
So if it were between one or the other, would you prefer the vines or the door?
Oh, don't ask me that.
If you had to pick one. Yeah, vines. Right?
Vines. Yeah, no. I mean, it's my mood.
But that door
I
is really
build vines over everything.
Yeah.
But yeah, the door is so cool. I'm very happy. And then there's other things, but I don't want to hog the whole.
Well, what about you, Kondo? I'm sure you saw the patch and or my video covering it. What was there anything in there that you were happy with or excited about?
Well, I didn't look at all the patch notes, but I did hear about the ballista changes. So that'll be a welcome change to help protect your base without shooting yourself.
Can you explain the change for the listeners who haven't heard about it?
Well, I believe it's currently the ballista targets you. So if you walk in front of the ballista, you get fired upon. But with the change, they don't target players anymore.
Well, not
exactly. Not exactly.
Morty, you want to explain how it works?
Sure. Yeah. Okay. So one, they upped the ammo count, so you don't have to constantly be on top of it. So they changed it from 20 to 40, which is amazing. And the other thing that they're changing is they're adding a target option. So you can use a trophy to tell the ballista what to target. So natively, it'll still target everything, including players. And if you want it to specifically go for just a y'all, if you give it a y'all trophy or indicate, I don't think it actually uses the trophy. I think you just have to like go up to it with that in your hotbar and tap the number while you're interacting with it, and it'll say, oh, this ballista now targets y'alls. And it doesn't target seekers, it doesn't target people, it doesn't target ticks. It just will target the y'all. And I think that is an absolutely brilliant compromise to come up with on how to make the ballistas do what people want them to do.
I told you I didn't read all the notes.
I mean, obviously that's better than it just always shooting everything, including players. But I have seen some people not quite happy with that because you can't use a bunch of different trophies on it to target all these different creatures. It's only one creature at a time. So if you're
build another ballista, just build another one.
Well, right. You can have one ballista that shoots y'all.
Yeah.
I mean, that's exactly what I was thinking in my when I saw that in my comments. It's like, well, you just have a couple of ballistas for the seekers, a couple for the y'alls, and there you go. You got everything covered, and it won't shoot you or your friends.
It's you could just pair them up. Oh, I want you to shoot seekers and y'alls, and it's great. I'm excited.
Yeah, that's a fun and I actually kind of wouldn't mind even if it used up the trophy because we just have like endless trophies that fill chests, right?
Not for all the things.
No, I know some things are really rare.
I mean, in all honesty, I'm excited. You know what I'm excited about? Taking a ballista up into the mountains, having it set to hunt golems. And then, I know that golems sort of need a proximity thing to wake them up, but it'd be really cool because then you could set up a whole crystal farm.
Oh, nice.
And so, but like having it use up a stone golem trophy for that would be a little.
Well, you'd only have to do it once, right?
Do it once.
You just set it once, and then you're good. Unless you tear it down and rebuild it or something. Target it.
I'm glad that it's not using up the trophy.
Yeah, no. That's probably why they did it, right? Because they know some trophies are more rare than others.
Yeah.
So Kondo, you I know you love building farms. You'll have to let us know if it's possible to do a stone golem farm with ballistas.
I was thinking of other things. I'm thinking leeches.
Ooh, a leech farm.
Yeah.
Now I haven't tested it, but I wonder if the ballista prevents spawns from happening. That would have to be something we'd have to test.
Not in my experience.
Oh, okay. Stuff still comes at you and you got to shoot it.
Yeah.
Just have to reload it, right? And it'll miss sometimes, which, so it'd be kind of an expensive farm, right? Although, did they reduce? I don't know if they reduced the cost on the ammunition for that thing.
I mean, there are different kinds of ammunition that you can make, right?
Yeah, I think there's two kinds.
Yeah.
Leeches wouldn't they wouldn't need the more expensive kind. They're pretty easy to kill.
Also, how many people have chests and chests full of black metal?
Yeah, you're right.
Well, the black metal bolts are not like, and if, with the chickens, you have plenty of feathers, fine. It's fine.
It's good to have something that uses up black metal regularly. I wish they would give us an arrow, a black metal arrow. I know they went with the Deathsquito Stinger for the Plains arrow, but really we need a black metal arrow just to have something to sink black metal into, right?
We don't need it now. Now we have the ballistas.
Exactly.
And the bolts. I'm happy. I'm so sorry. I'll stop gushing.
Well, and just to cover a couple of the other big updates, they added a fishing hat, which adds plus 20 to fishing and swimming. I believe it's swimming.
Is it plus 20 to both?
It's plus 20 to both, yeah.
Oh my God. What does it take to make that thing? Like, I haven't even looked at that, but you made one,
I mentioned it in my video. I forget now. I can't even remember.
I watched your video and I don't even... Okay.
Yeah, it's in my video covering that.
I'll go watch
update. It. So the fishing hat, and for me, I mean, I love hats. I'm going to have to try to get a fishing hat that looks like that hat just so I can wear it and have it match.
I will say it's an odd aesthetic choice because it looks very modern.
It does, yeah.
But I when I saw what it does, I was over the moon. I was so excited.
Kondo, have you seen the fishing hat yet that was added?
Not at all.
Okay, you're too busy working on my servers over there. You don't have time to look at the stuff that's coming down the line.
I've been building
can you bring up a
floating
picture onto our podcast image here?
What's that?
Can you bring up the image to our podcast? Do you have like the thumbnail from your video, or even like bring up the video?
I could probably look at that while we're discussing the next one. Can you talk about the what they did for night spawns while I pull up that image?
Yeah. Okay. So I love how you're like, oh, maybe this means we won't have foolings anymore. I'm like, Jiroc, that's not how it works. So they have finally added night spawns for the next boss death. So with the death of the queen, we will now get seekers as night spawns. So not only will the nights be full of dark and full of terrors, but you have, the gray dwarves that spawn at night. You have the skeletons that spawn at night after you kill bone mass. You have the I don't think we have something that really spawns at night after the mountains, but you have the foolings that spawn after you kill Yagluth. Now we're going to have seekers spawning at night after you kill the boss. So make sure your bases are well defended.
Yeah, especially they're making the seekers a little tougher after they nerfed them. They're making them tougher again. Now having those wandering around in the plains in my little hut house, that's a scary thought.
I will say though that all of those things also attack each other. So if you get night spawns and you have foolings and seekers at the same time, they're just as likely to go after each other as they are you. So, this is what my husband and I call CR awesome, when you have one hard creature and another hard creature and they don't like each other.
Yeah.
You introduce them.
Yeah. So, Kondo, for you and anybody who's watching, this is the new hat.
It's so great.
Let's see if I can zoom in a little bit more here. But there it is, the new hat. And
it's got hooks on it and fish bones and all kinds of fun things.
Yeah, and if you just turn up the sides a little bit, it'd be a perfect little cowboy hat. Yeah, it's the closest thing we get to a cowboy hat in the game. I'm happy. That looks great.
I know. I saw this and I was like, Jiroc's gonna love this.
Yep. And now when you're an admin on my servers, you if you're going to log in with your admin character, it's a requirement. You have to wear this hat. It's required by all admins.
I see.
Especially the ones named Kondo. Yeah, so that's a fun and yeah, the night spawns. It's nice to get some more variety with the night spawns. I love running around and trying to dodge fuelings while I'm in my it was leather gear. I just upgraded the troll leather gear.
Yay, good job.
They killed me a few times and killed all my animals a few times. It killed my house once, but
you know my opinion on night spawns, so I agree with that change.
Yes. Yeah, more night creatures the better. I mean it'll be fun.
And with the fishing hat, it's not just carte blanche, hey, you get better at fishing, because they're tweaking the system quite a bit, it seems.
Yeah, what were the tweaks that they're doing for this patch?
Oh, this one I'm less familiar with, because I mean I like it, but I'm not like super geeking out over it. But so basically they're going to add something where there's a struggle mechanic.
Oh, right.
So and if you're
lose more
reeling
stamina, right?
Yeah. So if you're reeling in the fish, there's going to be an animation where the fish sort of struggles, and if it's struggling while you're reeling it in, it's going to drain your stamina faster. Now, if your skill is higher, your stamina drain is less. So there's definitely a balance here. But I think it's really and some of the bigger fish and the higher level biome fish are also more difficult to reel in.
Yeah.
But they're giving you a hat with a boost of 20 skill out the gate. So if you can, however quickly you can make that hat, you're going to have a better time. So I think that's a nice give and take a little bit there. But also, I don't know how I feel about this other update. I think it's a good one, but also I'm sad. And they're changing the way you make the bait. So as of right now, it's this whole mini game where you have to get a fish in each biome. And before you can progress to the next biome and get the next bait, you have to both have a trophy from that biome as well as kill or catch a fish from the previous biome. And now they're making it so you just need the bait that you buy from Heldors. And I believe you combine it with a trophy of the appropriate biome to make the bait, if I'm understanding it correctly. And I'm a little sad, but I totally see the absolute value of that. So,
yeah, people will probably find it really difficult to catch enough fish, or to. I mean, I guess you have to catch a fish for each bait you make, right? For the next.
Yeah, I recently went through that progression, and it's interesting. It's not particularly tough, but it is time consuming. But it was fun, and I liked that you needed to successfully get a fish from each biome before you could progress. But you had to continue to successfully fish to continually get more bait. They did increase the cost of the bait at Heldors as well, I believe. And they did something else. Dang it, I'm forgetting now. But this is all just from memory. I'm not even looking at a list.
Yeah. That's pretty good, though.
I totally nerded out when I saw this, and I saw you do a coverage of it, and I saw Christy do coverage of it, and I went in and I read the notes, and I'm like, sorry, excited noises. No, I'm really, really excited about this update.
Yeah, it's a huge update. I think it's one of the biggest content patch updates that we've had since the game released originally. But a couple of other things that I thought were pretty interesting were mobs inside Mistlands dungeon can now respawn, Kondo.
Yeah.
But what about the rest of the dungeons? Like, we still as admins, we have to go around and populate that with our mods or do it manually. Like, why only Mistlands dungeons? Do it. Why not do it
because of the royal jelly?
Yeah.
Is it just the mobs, or is it?
It's just the mobs. It's not the other stuff, as far as I'm aware. It's just the mobs, and I think that's because there are very, very few sources of royal jelly otherwise.
Yeah.
And so I think that was a concern for a lot of people using the magic system, the ether system, that having food, having that extra food that gives you what you need, was a fairly limited resource unless you just wanted to farm the queen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so I think that that's a really reasonable step to take to address that like specific concern.
Yeah. Well, if they're going to have them respawn in Mistlands, though, I know it's to address a specific thing. It would only seem to make sense to let the other dungeons respawn to have content in those dungeons as well. Especially if you're running a server and you have new players coming on, they just find a bunch of empty dungeons everywhere.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Having respawning cultists would be real nice for those cultist trophies because they're not super common, and it'd be a nice way to farm the jute as well.
Yeah, yeah. Especially if you want to decorate a lot with that. That's it's hard to get. Yeah. Well, and this other one, Kondo, you might find interesting. Hens now lay eggs closer to their bodies, so they instead of laying it behind them, so it can clip through the wall at the farm. Apparently, they lay like right underneath them. But I still think they're going to clip out through. If you put a roof on that little box that we put them in, the chick has got to clip out somewhere because it won't fit, especially as it grows, right? So it'll be interesting to see how the chicken farms change with that new setup. Kondo, do you have any chicken farms yet, or have you not had time to experiment with that?
I've got a design, and it works pretty good, and it won't clip out. And laying the eggs close to the bodies won't worry.
Interesting. I'll have to see your design, Kondo, because I know mine's going to break.
Yeah. That might need a video after this patch comes out. So we'll see.
There's so many things. There are so many things that I do that like I'm constantly giving Kondo credit on my stream when I'm building stuff. I'm like, this is a Kondo thing. This is a Kondo. Yep, this is a Kondo thing. Yep, the storage sign. This I learned from Kondo.
Oh yeah, Kondo. You get a lot of praise because people tell me these designs are great. Like this admin house. I was like, oh yeah, no, I didn't build that. Kondo built it. Or the Pandora floating islands. Not only did on our Discord server, but in my YouTube comments, people are saying, "Oh, that looks great. Nice job." And I say, "Oh yeah, it looks great. I didn't make it. Kondo made it." Yes.
Happy to help.
Yeah. Well, great. This has been a lot of fun, but I think that's going to do it for us this week. So thank you for joining me very much, Kondo and Morning Darkness.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thanks for having us.
And that's it for now. Have fun out there.
Bye.
Bye-bye.